Hemaji, let us start.
Okay.
Welcome, everyone. Good evening for people joining from India. Apologies, there's a small last-minute change of plan. Instead of the talk, we will have to continue reading The Human Biological Machine as a transformational apparatus by E.J. Gould. Last time we completed chapter 10, and today we will start with chapter 11. We will follow the same approach.
Yeah.
Hemaji will read, Rajan Bhai will share his comments. And if any one of you have any questions, feel free to leave it on chat or also unmute yourself and ask the questions. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you can start.
Okay, sir.
Hmm.
Chapter 11, The Repair of the Machine. Because life experiences mnemonically stored in the muscles of the body have distorted the electrical field of the machine. Repair of these anomalies in the journal electrical field are necessary in order for the machine to function effectively as a transformational apparatus. The machine
Hemaji, one second.
stores.
Hemaji, sorry, one second.
So what have we understood by life experiences being mnemonically stored in the muscles of the body? What do we understand by that? What is the meaning of the word sanskar? When we say we are holding on to all these sanskars, what do we mean by that? Anybody? Yeah.
Memory patterns.
Patterns.
Yes, but how are those memory patterns formed?
Repetition.
No. What goes into the making of a sanskar?
Impressions.
Right. So how an impression? How does it work? Supposing I'm talking to you just now, right? And at the same time, I'm bored of this whole thing. So what impression am I giving myself?
Boredom.
Boredom. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? I may be showing to you I'm very interested. So what is being stored in the muscles?
Boredom.
Boredom is being stored in the muscles. See, so the muscles are storing what is called an experiential memory. Each moment, what experience I am giving myself, and this in the language of the Shastra is called as sanskar. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? Now, because when we study, what do you call, Gurdjieff's false personality, a lot of this becomes very clear. Supposing you're telling me that you made a mistake here, but I'm not accepting my mistake. What is being mnemonically stored in the muscles? Come on.
I am right.
I am right. My self-love is being stored in the muscles. Right? So there will be these general categories of sanskar which will be stored in the muscles. Can you see? So each moment we are having an experience of life, right? I may be living with my wife and I may be saying, oh, today you're looking so beautiful and all that. And inside I may be saying that the faster I go to office, the freer I am from her, right? So what sanskar am I giving myself at that moment is of dvesh, rag dvesh. Can you understand? Right? So each moment, what experience I'm giving myself is mnemonically stored in the muscles. And it is stored as an electromagnetic field. It is stored as an electromagnetic field. This field forms a matrix over there, right? It forms a matrix over there, right? And it is stored as an electromagnetic field. And you see the fields will be more in a general sense. For you or for me, anger may be different from irritation, but when it comes down to an electromagnetic field, they may have very similar fields. So the field which is getting stronger, which is getting reinforced, may be the same field. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? And all this is stored in the muscles. Can we read that paragraph again? Yeah.
Ji, sir.
Hmm.
Because life experiences numerically stored in the
Now,
muscles. Mnemonically, what does it mean? Mnemonically, in this sense over here, what does mnemonically mean?
Similar type of experience are stored in same muscle.
No, mnemonically,
As a memory.
which can be
Negatively.
recalled easily. Which can be recalled easily. Can you understand that the memory which is being stored in the muscles, it is being stored in the, what do you call, way of an electromagnetic field, and that electromagnetic field is sort of urging me to repeat. It is urging me to repeat. So the stronger the electromagnetic field, the more I am identified with that electromagnetic field, right?
Sir, it will also be very easy flowing. It's just going into my muscles without me realizing that it's happening
Yeah,
over
definitely.
and over.
Yes, but it won't be easy flowing, it will be damage flowing.
Yes, damage, but in my muscles it will be stored very easily without me even
Yes.
realizing it.
Yes, but it's going to damage the whole body.
Yes,
It's going to damage the whole body. Yeah.
And tense relax basically changes this or removes this blockage or electromagnetic.
Dense relax is very helpful. Very helpful. Yoga Nidra is very helpful.
So numerically stored in the muscles of the body have distorted the electrical field of the machine. Repair of these anomalies in the journal electrical field are necessary in order for the machine to function effectively as a transformational apparatus.
Right. So now Mr. Gold is talking about an electrical field. When Ospinski is talking about 4 centers, that the 4 centers have to be brought into rhythm and balance or have to be repaired. Here he's saying the electrical field of the machine has to be repaired. It boils down to the same thing. That if the machine has to work as a transformational factory, right? First of all, the muscles have to be repaired, because any impression which will come in, it will hit that electrical field of the muscles, and because they are mnemonic, they'll react immediately, throw it out immediately, right? And you will not be able to use that impression as what you call raw material for transforming into something higher. Yeah.
The machine stores all its memory electromagnetically and releases it according to electrochemically transmitted instructions.
Right. So we have a nervous system and we have an endocrine system. So from morning, I have stored up energy, electromagnetic energy in my muscles, and they're waiting to get out, right? And then somebody gives me an insult and there's adrenaline thrown into the body, which comes from the endocrine system, which is a chemical, and I react immediately and I throw out that energy, right? So it releases it electrochemically and it, what you call, stores it electromagnetically.
The entire head brain corresponds to the information handling part of a computer called the processor, and the data storage units are represented by the muscles,
Right.
the bus lines, which
So the head brain is the computer, but the data storage unit is the, what do you call, muscles, right? So how much of data is stored, that is in the muscles, and the muscles have thousands and thousands of years of data lying in the muscles.
the bus lines which
What is the bus
strap
line?
The power line that goes through some.
Acha.
the bus lines which strap across the whole system, providing a common referent base to which the oppositely charged voltage variations representing information encapsulated within an electrical carrier wave of raw electrical voltage refer is represented by the central nervous system.
What is he saying here?
Yeah. So here basically he's saying that if
Say loudly so they can hear.
yeah, here basically what he's saying is if information has to be stored electrically, there needs to be a referent base or a base voltage or a charge, right? Which is the base, like the grounding thing that we have. Now, the information that is stored, it is stored either as it is stored as oppositely charged voltage variation. So let's say if the base voltage is 2 volts or 3 volts, so some will be stored as plus 5 volts, some will be stored as minus 2 volts.
In a way, let us say in a different way, then you come and you explain it, that anything stored in the computer
Yes.
is stored as a series of 0 ones.
Yes. Yes.
Right? So if you take 0 as a negative charge and 1 as a positive charge, right? So in the muscles, the whole thing is stored positive, negative, it is stored in this way.
Yes.
Similarly as it is stored in a computer.
Yes.
Something like this is.
Yes. Yes.
Again, just go through the words.
So if we remember, recall the talk from a couple of weeks back where Urvi was showing the voltage curves, right, for the different muscles. The base voltage for any muscle, I think, is minus 10 millivolts or something. That is the referent base. Now, depending on how much, that is when the muscle is in a relaxed state. Now, depending on how much charge I'm giving to it, how tensed the muscle is, right, and how old the tension is, the charge on the muscles might vary anywhere from minus 10 millivolts to 50, 60, 70 millivolts. So this is, and this thing that is stored is actually called the electrical carrier wave of raw electrical voltage. One more thing to add to this is, typically whenever our muscles are tensed, the charge will increase. When we relax it, the charge becomes negative again. But because many times now what happens, some of our muscles are constantly in a semi-tensed position. So shoulders, for example, they're always tensed. So then what happens is that they permanently now start storing some charge. So instead of their base being, let's say, minus 10 millivolts, their base will itself be plus 10 millivolts. And this is almost a permanent change or permanent distortion in the electrical field. And this is that experience that is stored in the muscle as that charge and as that field.
So the experience which we have gone through, say I have gone through irritation.
Yes.
The experience is stored in the muscle between plus and minus.
Yes. And actually a specific value of plus and minus.
Okay.
So different values of plus and minus depending on how intense it is.
Right.
How intense.
Like how much of voltage is in the experience and how much of amperage is in the experience. Okay.
Yes.
So, can I step in?
Yeah,
Yes.
please.
Alka.
Okay. Yeah. So just what Ketan is saying is he's getting into the details of how the variations of the information in negatives and positive. But I think when he's saying here, and this is just my understanding, please bear with me. When he's saying the bus lines which strap across the whole system is the nervous system, the nerves that strap across the whole system providing a common referent base. That referent base that he's talking about is the autonomic nervous system, which is a referent base for the different information that comes in a single carrier wave. Carrier wave is carrying positive and negative both informations, but this autonomous nervous system is acting as the referent base.
Just let us go a little lower. Then we
Yes,
know. Yeah.
yes. So because of that then sets all the grounding voltage to -10 volts, that nervous system, and then it'll be the more
See, the autonomic nervous system is the sympathetic and the parasympathetic.
parasympathetic nervous
Right,
system.
consists of sympathetic and
Parasympathetic.
parasympathetic.
Yeah.
Right. But the what do you call it? The charge? See, the sympathetic nervous system will release the chemical, which will tell the central nervous system to do this.
Yes.
Right.
Increase the charge in the muscle.
Right. So we just go a little further into this. Let's see what it's saying. Yeah.
So maybe when they're calling it the referent base, they're saying that there is already some references that have been witnessed by that autonomous nervous system, which when it's saying it's a base, that means that you can keep coming back to it and refer to it.
What he could be meaning by referent base is that if it is a natural referent base, then -10 will mean the muscles are relaxed.
Yes.
But for every person, the referent base will change. So if another person is remaining tense the whole day, then his reference base may not be -10, it may be +10.
Yes.
Right? The reference base will change and the whole autonomic nervous system will act accordingly. Right,
and then one more thing, the same point that you were saying in the first paragraph, within an electrical carrier wave, that carrier wave, could it be that that wave that forms the matrix around a particular frequency of impressions being received? Could it be that encapsulated within an electrical carrier? I don't know. Maybe I'm just not getting it right. But could it be the same?
Carrier wave, providing a common reference base to which the oppositely charged voltage variations representing information encapsulated within an electrical carrier wave of raw electrical voltage. So the information is in an electrical carrier wave, but that expresses itself as raw electrical voltage, right?
Yes.
And that voltage could be in a very relaxed state -10, but in another person who's tense all the time, it is 10. It could be 10 also, right? So even though whatever the data is there, in the end, it is going to be expressed as voltage.
As voltage.
It is going to be expressed as voltage.
Voltage charge in the muscles.
Right. But as long as it is being stored, it is being stored as a carrier wave.
Yes.
It is being stored as a carrier wave. But the minute it is getting expressed, it expresses itself as voltage. Something like that, he's saying, yeah. Okay, we'll go further.
And the data retrieval mechanism is represented by the autonomic nervous system and the base brain, which calls up information by stimulation of precise portions of the myeneural network.
Myeneural network.
Myeneural network.
Muscular and neural network, yeah. Right. This is what we did yesterday. Tauriaji was talking about it in a different language, but this is what we did yesterday, that the identical memory pattern comes in there. Where does the identical memory pattern come? It comes to the base brain, that is the taluka. And how does it come? Through the myeneural network? That is what he said. In the end, it is electricity. Right? So even what Tauriaji is saying, that it comes from brain to be, is that memory pattern, but in the end, that memory pattern is just a carrier wave. It is going to be expressed as voltage. That is what he's trying to say over here, that it is going to be expressed as voltage, right? Good one, yes. So, right.
Take a moment to realize the implications of this. It means that the entire experiential history of the machine is stored in the smaller electrical fields of the muscles.
Right. So the experiential history of the machine, right? Like today, my legs have been paining so badly. It's the experiential history of the machine in the muscles. Right.
Sir,
Okay.
सर ये एक्सपीरियंशियल हिस्ट्री जो है ये दो फॉर्म में इसको मैं बेसिक मान रहा हूँ सर। राग और द्वेष, मतलब एक पॉजिटिव एक निगेटिव, या एक 0 या 1।
It is stored as positive, it is stored as voltage, the potential, it is stored as a, what do you call, carrier wave, right? So the carrier wave, how is the carrier wave formed?
So carrier wave is the way that it is transmitted. So if there's a sound wave, there's an ocean wave, right? So that is used to transmit certain information from one point
But
to the other.
he mentioned it is stored as positive and negative.
It's stored as positive and negative, and it's all what you mentioned at the beginning, right? So all the experiential memory of mind, each experiential memory stored in a specific electric field in a specific muscle. So anger will be stored. The anger will be stored in, let's say, the muscles in my back or the shoulder,
yeah.
for example.
Shoulder, or in the muscles of the teeth, the
Yes.
jaw,
Yes.
right?
And at a biological level, that means that excess of positive charge is deposited in those muscles, and that positive charge will create an electrical field around it because it has a positive charge. And this is the smaller electrical fields
of the muscles, which destroy the electrical field
overall
of the electrical field of the
Similarly,
body.
anger stored there, jealousy stored in some other muscle, fear or anxiety in some other muscle, that type of.
Can other people be attached to your vesture?
What are you talking about?
No.
What?
Can others' vestures be attached to your vesture? Your field? Can people walk into you?
Yeah, if the window is open, they can walk in.
Yeah.
The window is not open, they can't walk in. Let's go ahead here.
Each new experience tends to overlay and refer to all previous similar experiences or experiences which seem similar, whether they are or not. The
So
storage.
It gets renewed every time.
It gets renewed.
It gets renewed every time, right?
The storage mechanism is incapable of determining the actual reliability of its estimation of similarity, and often the seeming similarity is completely false.
Yeah, no. I mean, because the experiences will have similarity, but those similarities may not, what you call, have any relationship with the event in life.
Yes.
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 Experiences which seem to be the same tend to be
And you
stored.
see, a new person comes to meet me, right? And I just feel dislike for him. So some similarity of experiences happened over there. And then when I'm talking to him, I suddenly realize he has come to help me in so many different ways. So dislike changes to like, right? But the original experience which came in because of some similarity, which is totally, which you cannot rely upon that similarity.
So events could be different, but the pattern we are storing will be same.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when again he's saying that overlay and refer to all previous similar experiences. So I think, I'm sorry, but I think the referral base is actually the nervous system and not the brain. The brain is or not the muscles. So nervous system is that referral base which is referring back to the similar emotions, but those experiences are not stored in a way that you can actually rely upon in acknowledging the similarity or dissimilarity of it.
Anyway, let's go through the paragraph. Let's read it again.
Each new experience tends to overlay and refer to all previous similar experiences or experiences which seem similar, whether they are or not.
Yeah, so it is stored electrically.
Yes.
It is stored, it is overlaying a pattern, an electrical pattern, right? So it is stored electrically, no doubt about that. Yeah. And because experiences of a similar kind are stored in a similar place, they relate to previous similar experiences. Right.
the storage mechanism is incapable of determining the actual reliability of
Ah,
its estimation.
yeah, it has a general idea and it puts this thing with this and puts this with this, right? And what do you call, it could be totally false, the similarity. Now I'll take this thing, what do you call? Supposing we take homeopathy, that I'm in depression, right? So this depression which I'm holding inside is experiences in my electrical field, right? So I'm holding it as an experience in my electrical field, right? Now, which electrical field will have a similar, what do you call, electrical field as my depression? So then in life, say gold, aurum, what they call. So in homeopathy, the medicine for depression is what is called aurum metallicum, right? So aurum will have a similar field. Now, aurum is a good experience. Gold is a good experience. Depression is a bad experience. But this poor guy who's storing all the experiences, he'll put everything together, right? So he does not, he's not able to, what do you call, there is no discriminating capacity over here of how these experiences are stored over here. It could be something like that. That is okay.
Shall I read the next paragraph?
Yeah.
Experiences which seem to be the same tend to be stored in the same memory sector, although they may not necessarily be related
The same event.
event,
Right.
and the similarity may not be evident when examined closely.
Right.
Similarities may be based upon one element within the experience, and the element may not be actually significant.
Yeah, now this is actually, I have lost Mr. Tavaria's notes on impression food. Now, in those notes, he says even when an impression comes in, right, what is registered is a very small part of the whole total impression, right? So, who's put this in? So what is coming in and what is being registered is a very small part of the total impression. Now, the total impression may be of happiness, right? That we went on a picnic, it's the impression of a picnic, bringing in happiness. But the impression which I took is that this person came in the picnic. I can never be happy with this person, right? So in this way, even though the experience is, what do you call, it should be a good experience. Later on the whole day, I may have had a good experience with the picnic, but because of that one experience, it is stored in a different place altogether. You get it?
For example,
the similarities are based upon one element within the experience, right? So, I mean, what has registered inside and what has registered with what intensity, right? And that it will be stored according to that.
One more example of this is had someone who was
Louder.
there was someone who was going on a trip to the US. Now they had a great trip to the US and they had a great time there. But on the way back, they had a terrible experience with the flight. Their flight got delayed, cancelled, they had to wait the whole time. And it's been about 10 years since that event. But now whenever I ask that person about how that trip was, the only thing that they will remember is, oh, what a terrible flight I had. This is how much I had to suffer, this and that.
Yeah, I remember one such experience. I was traveling from somewhere in what was that place? Carolina or some place to Boston. And at Washington Airport, the plane was delayed for 10 hours. So there was a 10-hour delay. I left in the morning. I could have driven down also much faster, right? And all those 10 hours, I read and reread Krishnamurti's book, what do you call on that, the Kitchen Chronicles, that very wonderful book of Krishnamurti, the Kitchen Chronicles. And those 10 hours went so pleasant and so, what do you call, and I didn't even remember that the plane had been delayed and I was sitting there in the cafe reading the book. So, it depends. Now, the experience is a painful experience that your plane has been delayed for 10 hours, right? But still, where it is being stored, we don't know,
Yeah.
right?
But that entirety of that event is basically you pick one part which has the highest intensity in it and
And
it's
then
stored
it that way.
that.
For 10 hours you read the book.
Yeah.
Good morning, Rajendra. Can I
Huh?
ask one question?
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
morning,
Who's,
Vanita.
who's
Yeah,
saying good
so-
morning?
Yeah. So here, if you have this kind of experience, so can you later on consciously decide not to remember the bad thing and try and relive the good experiences you have? Would that change the storage of memory in a different way? Can you change that storage at all?
Oh, memory can be rearranged. Memory can be rearranged. Now, there are two levels of memory. One is the memory which is stored, which is happened to I, because whenever we store memory, we are storing in relation to me, in relation to I. I is the center of gravity of everything. And one, there is a real memory which is beyond I,
Hmm.
which can be accessed in deep meditation. And in that, then you are no longer in the picture. There is a natural memory which has been stored beyond that, and that can be accessed. And when you access that memory, a lot of the knots of the memory relating to I all dissolve in that.
Right. But then that whole memory can be stored in a different way, right? You can rearrange and different it in a different compartment
Yeah,
in
you
a
can
way.
rearrange the memory, or you can access a memory which is beyond this memory.
Mm-hmm.
And that
And
is a
then
natural
another,
memory.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when we are another question that for the previous paragraph, that if we are storing, like everything is an electromagnetic memory, like a voltage in the muscle, so can apart from internally when we do meditation or conscious sleep.
Hey, 1 minute. Somebody is this thing. We can't. Somebody is gone unmuted.
Yeah, now they are muted.
Now they're muted.
None
Okay.
muted them.
Huh.
So how much externally we can help to relax the muscle will help releasing that kind of so can, apart from doing meditation or conscious sleep, all these deep tissue massages and stuff like that, can they release the sanskar from the muscles
Temporarily.
temporarily?
Yeah. So if you use, say, Rolfing and these deep tissue massages, I've forgotten the name of the other one, the very famous one, but Rolfing is one of them. And they go deep into the muscles and they release what you call things from the muscles. And
Myofascial release?
Hmm?
Myofascial release?
No. Forgotten the name of that. Just what do you call Google Adler? He gave a kind of massage which I've forgotten. And what do you call? They can be released. They can be released through catharsis, but this does not. What do you call? Change the habit of overlaying.
Okay.
So through catharsis, through deep massage, we can become temporarily, what do you call? What do you call? Free from the pattern, but the overlaying process, the habit of making that pattern does not change, and that can only be changed through conscious effort.
Right. Thank you.
And there is one more thing about it, right? This is stored, like he said, in the electrical field. So even if we are, let's say, physically doing something to the muscle, the field still retains its memory or its structure.
Yeah,
at that
it is a
time.
habit.
Yes,
It is a habit. No, the habit is being repeated.
yes.
For example, events may seem similar to the storage mechanism because they contain an object which is common to each, or a color, odor, or emotion which produces the appearance of similarity.
Right, right. It could be an what you call smell, it could be a color, it could be a feeling just of like or dislike or something of that sort. And in my personal life, I have observed that smells have swayed me a lot. That I have been very, very what you call identified with smell. And so, right, and so it took me a lot of hard work to get over that. Hmm.
Eventually, because these experiences are stored electrically in the muscles, the machine becomes bent with age just from the sheer weight of life experience.
So these electrical fields, they seem to have a gravitational force which destroys the machine. Destroys the machine. It becomes too heavy to carry the machine. Right.
So this, in the technical parlance, is you have calcium ions that get deposited in the muscles. And that then calcifies over time.
Yeah.
And that is this extra, the weight of bent with age
Right.
comes.
Impressions or memory events in the sense of their meaning in physics, mathematics, and chemistry, are directed by the machine to various storage elements in the muscles, not necessarily as they occur, and definitely not with any ordered logic.
Physics, mathematics, and chemistry. So can we take mathematics as the intellectual center, chemistry as the emotional center, and physics as the instinct moving center? Huh?
Maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Right. So they are stored as physics, right? How would you explain that?
So these will form very specific habits in each of these centers. And those habits are stored in the muscles. So for example, movement will be restricted. Movement might be limited, right? If something is stored in the back, a certain habit will form in thinking. Gestures, yes.
Let's take it in a different way. Supposing I'm walking along the road and there's a stone, then my legs automatically jump over the stone. So this is physics.
Yes.
This is physics, right? Similarly, if I take this same thing emotionally, I know that relating with her, I'm going to face this block. It's a habit.
Yeah.
And before she can say anything, I say it in a different way and I go over that block.
Yes.
It's again physics in the emotional center.
Yes.
Can you understand?
Yeah.
Right? Similarly, for me to get over that stone,
some calculations
have to be done. So the mathematics also is
Yes.
there involved, right? And there may be mathematics that I have done so much for her that she is
Yes.
not doing anything for me. Accounting, what we call as inner accounting, internal considering. So this is how these memory events are being stored.
And chemistry, because even chemicals, right? Hormones.
All hormones are
All
chemicals.
hormones will be
Chemicals.
released
Right.
depending on what attitude you want
Yeah.
to take to an event.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
They accumulate in the muscle system according to the machine's own internal reasoning and customary habit.
Yeah. Right.
The muscles are operated by what is called myoelectrical current, conducted by the neural network which runs through the muscles.
Right. So we have a motor network. We have a what do you call the sensory network, and we have one where we order the muscles, that is the central nervous system.
So there's the central nervous system, which
Hmm.
is the brain and the spinal cord, but then there is the autonomous nervous system, and one in which we can have some voluntary movement. Now, the autonomous nervous system is the sympathetic and the parasympathetic.
Hmm.
And the other voluntary nervous system, in which you have sensory fibers and some motor fibers. Motor fibers will tell you
Yes.
that is voluntary movement.
Voluntary movement. Right. So breathing can be both.
Breathing can be both. Yes.
Breathing can one autonomic it can run, and it can run also through central nervous system. Right.
Autonomous, yeah.
With repeated aggravation, the muscles tend to remain more or less permanently constricted.
Yeah, and this we
Which-
see in old people. I mean, their shape has changed completely, right?
which radically distorts the shape and function of the muscles, in turn distorting the electrical field of the machine as a whole.
I mean, this I saw in Mr. Tauria when he would be going down the stairs. I would be behind him because we would be going down 6 floors. It would be as if he was floating in the sky, just all the muscles in the body so relaxed. When he would sit down in his vest, that Parsi vest, and lift his legs on the chair, you could see, I mean, how the muscles in the body totally relaxed. There's no constriction in any part of I have in my life met so many enlightened people, but what I saw in him was so radically different. I mean, that it's impossible to say what it was like, and even when he'd be walking on the road, he would be as if he's walking on water, that kind of thing. So it was so different over there. Yeah. I used to call him a bag of cotton. I said there are no muscles in the body, just a bag of cotton.
Stored information distorts the muscles because the muscles store information as an electrical field whose shape represents the information.
Beautiful, beautiful. One thing I want to just add over here, that beyond the muscles is the sex energy. And just as there's distortion in the muscles, there are buffers in the sex energy, blockages in the sex energy, right? And if you can directly work upon the sex energy, the muscles will relax automatically. They'll release everything automatically, right? So there is something beyond what Mr. Gold is saying over here. I mean, it's okay what he's saying over your muscles and this and that and all that. But if you can go beyond that and rotate the sex energy in the body, then all this anomalies in the muscles will be, repaired automatically. And that is one field which I think somewhere else he may have talked about, I don't know. But it's something which we normally don't touch upon, right? Go ahead.
This shaped electrical field can be expressed as a geometric and algebraic mathematical function which reflects the exact informational content of the muscle.
Right.
The muscles are shot through with very small low resistance electrical transmission lines which behave more or less like electrical wires, and just like wires, they develop electromagnetic ridges and valleys around themselves which reflect their function and which are altered by and reciprocally alter any adjacent electrical fields within their sphere of influence.
What you're saying? You're saying, right? The muscles are shot through with very small, low resistance electrical transmission lines, which behave more or less like electrical wires. And just like wires, they develop electromagnetic ridges and valleys around themselves, that is ridges and valleys around
Up and
them,
down.
right?
Trough
Which
functions.
reflect their function and which are altered by and reciprocally alter any adjacent electrical fields within their sphere of influence, right? So it's not that somebody is altering your field, you're also altering somebody else's field.
And this never makes sense. One more.
But it's people who have similar samskaric patterns.
Don't get judgmental. Let's go ahead.
And one more thing about this is that this resistance electrical transmission lines, right? These are the nerves that go into the muscles.
Hmm.
If I'm able to consciously relax the muscle, what's happening is I'm passing in that muscle, right? In that nerve, the current of relaxation, which will then affect the electrical field, which is
Yeah.
the stored energy in the muscle, and relax that.
Right. It will relax that. And if I can tense and relax the muscles and increase the tension and then hold the tension for a long time and mentally relax the muscles. Not relaxing the muscles, but relaxing the muscle mentally by and increasing the tension mechanically and relaxing it mentally through thought. Then the whole fields they'll have massive change in the field. Massive change. And you can repair all the fields that way.
You're saying that the charge that is.
So it's very simple that I tighten my fists and I tighten them more. So I'm increasing the tension in the machine. And then I look down, I said, you are relaxed, increase the tension, you are relaxed. So I don't feel the tension, I feel relaxation in spite of increasing tension. And this is the secret where you can change all this. This is the secret where you change all this.
Reciprocally.
Right. Right.
So how do we stop influencing others' electrical field, or how do we stop getting influenced?
Huh? We'll go to that sometime.
And this is what you say is very interesting because
Can you repeat the secret?
Huh?
Can you repeat the secret? Repeat the secret once, please.
I don't know who's talking.
Varun. Yeah.
Repeat the secret. What secret?
There was no secret.
It's an open secret, Varun.
I said that there is one thing of tensing the muscles and relaxing the muscles, right? So here, this is a motor movement. I'm tensing the muscles and relaxing the muscles. This is a motor movement. But now I'm increasing the tension. So in the motor muscles, I'm increasing the tension, more tension. But I'm closing my eyes and I'm going into deep relaxation in spite of the tension. So I'm holding the tension and moving into deep relaxation. This is the secret of what you call, where you can mentally, change the electrical fields of the muscles.
This reminds me of this YouTube video called The Birth of a Star, the process of fission and fusion happening at once.
Yeah. Right.
Fission is when you're trying to, put the pressure, and fusion is when you're trying to fuse it and relax it.
Right. But you're not relaxing it by relaxing the muscles. You're relaxing it by going into a deeper space inside.
Right.
And suddenly you're free of those fields because you've gone into a deeper space.
Yeah.
And that field cannot affect you any longer.
And electrically, what might be, sorry.
Go ahead, yeah.
Electrically, what might be happening is because you're holding that tension physically for a longer period of time, the voltage will be getting built up. And that high voltage has the ability to then break down those wrong fields.
When you hold it for
Yes.
a longer period of time. Right.
Sir, I have a question here. So with self-observation, I observe that I usually used to keep my jaws tight. But over a period of time, due to this thing, now I notice that I have successfully keeping my jaws little away from each other.
Yeah.
So should I do this tension tightening and relaxing, or now it has become a normal this thing that my jaws are little away from each other?
No, practice it. Practice it when you're getting angry or irritated.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you're getting angry or irritated, suddenly tighten the jaws.
Okay.
Hold. As if a monkey is releasing all its anger through its teeth.
Okay.
Hold. And then just relax very softly over it. Right? And it will change the whole matrix of anger, the electrical pattern of anger inside.
But this habit of keeping the jaw has become
Only
now
problem is that when I'm getting angry, you are in front of me because you have insulted me. Yeah. And then if I do this in front of you. So
the only option is that I have to say I have to go for this. I'll come back.
and then you can come back like Michael Corleone, shoot, bang, bang. Right.
But my question is this a good habit forming that has developed in me to
Yeah, very
keep my
good.
jaws?
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay.
Because it was a habit and there was a very powerful electromagnetic field created there, which was doing a lot of damage, right?
Okay.
And it would be involved in your reactions in anger, irritation, which you may have felt over time that they have been released, right?
Yeah. Okay. In this sense, the shape of an electrical storage apparatus can be said to determine its function, and the function in turn reciprocally determines the form of the electrical field as the storage apparatus accommodates itself to its contents and functions.
Yeah. So, I mean, the shape of a person's muscles determines what the level of being of that person is, right? And in turn, if we can change the shape, the level of being will change.
Yes.
When it comes to that, no?
Yes.
Comes to that. That is what he's saying.
Automatically, as an experience is recorded in the muscles, the local electrical field is correspondingly altered.
Right. So the more we tense and relax, and the more we move into deep relaxation by holding higher and higher limits of tension, the more the local electrical field will get completely altered. I think we'll stop over here because now the next sentence is very, very powerful. Repeated intentional stimulation, re-stimulate. We'll stop over here. Right? Any questions, anyone else? Right?
Any questions?
So you mentioned about homeopathy medicines act on the electrical field. So similarly, all these, let's say, Bach flower remedy, they also act on the similar electromagnetic field, like Star of Bethlehem, for example, act on a field which is related to depression.
My personal understanding is that one acts this way and one acts this way. So the homeopathic medicine acts on the electrical field. And the Bach flower remedy acts on the chemical part of it.
Oh.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. So this is it. Thank you. Sorry, we'll take that lecture next time. Some other time we'll take the lecture. I was not very well today. Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
you.